Greg had been driving for hours. It was his usual shift as a rideshare driver, but something about this night felt off. The rain poured heavily, drumming on the car roof as he navigated through the near-empty streets. He had already dropped off a few passengers, but now the night was getting quieter, lonelier. Just as he considered calling it a night, his phone buzzed another pickup request. It was an odd location, somewhere on the outskirts of town, near an old industrial district. He almost ignored it, but a long drive meant a bigger fare, and Greg needed the money. With a sigh, he accepted the ride and made his way to the pickup point. When he arrived, the street was deserted. No houses, no shops, just dim streetlights flickering in the fog. Then, out of the mist, a man appeared. He was wearing a long coat, his face shadowed by the brim of a wide-brimmed hat. He didn't say anything as he opened the back door and slid into the seat. Greg tried to greet him, but the man just nodded and muttered, "Drive." Greg felt a chill run down his spine. Something about the man didn't sit right with him, but a fare was a fare. He checked the GPS and started driving toward the destination, which was marked deep in the outskirts. The further they went, the more uneasy Greg felt. The passenger remained eerily quiet. No small talk, no music, just the sound of the rain and the occasional low hum of the engine. Greg kept glancing in the rearview mirror, but every time he looked, the man's face seemed off. His reflection was fuzzy, as though something were wrong with the glass. The air in the car grew colder, and Greg could feel his breath coming out in small clouds despite the heater being on. Suddenly, the GPS glitched. The screen blinked, and the route recalculated itself, redirecting them down a narrow, dark road Greg didn't recognize. He hesitated, but the passenger's voice came from the back seat, low and commanding. "Keep going." Greg's nerves were on edge now. The road was overgrown, and the trees seemed to close in on them, their branches scratching against the car windows like fingers trying to get in. He gripped the wheel tightly, the knuckles of his hands turning white. He glanced into the rearview mirror again. This time, the man's eyes were closed, but his reflection was smiling, something Greg hadn't noticed before. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was something darker, more sinister, as though the reflection knew something Greg didn't. Heart pounding, Greg decided he couldn't take it anymore. "Hey man, I'm going to pull over and check the GPS. This doesn't seem right." "No," the passenger whispered, his voice colder than the air in the car. "Keep driving." Greg's heart raced. He slammed on the brakes, stopping the car. "That's it. Ride's over. You need to get out." But when he reached for the door, it wouldn't budge. The locks were stuck. Panic surged through him as he tugged at the handle again and again, but it wouldn't open. The passenger still sat motionless, his face hidden beneath the hat, his breathing slow and steady. Greg's phone buzzed with a notification. He looked down at it, only to see a message that made his blood run cold. "Don't stop. You're almost there." The text came from his own number. Greg spun around to face the passenger, but the seat was empty. His eyes widened in horror as he realized the man was gone. Yet he could still feel his presence, like a heavy, oppressive weight in the car. The smile in the rearview mirror was still there, hanging in the air like a lingering nightmare. The car lurched forward on its own. The engine roared as if possessed, pulling Greg deeper into the dark forest. The GPS showed no destination, just a single word flashing on the screen. End. Terrified, Greg tried to stop the car, but the wheel wouldn't turn, the brakes didn't respond. He was trapped, speeding toward an unknown, inevitable fate. As the trees blurred past him, Greg's mind raced with fear. Who was the passenger? What did it want? And where was this ride taking him? Then the road ahead vanished. There was nothing but a yawning black void waiting for him. With a final, deafening screech, the car plunged into darkness, and Greg's scream was swallowed by the night. When the authorities found the car days later, it was parked by the side of the road, empty. The passenger seat was still warm, and a single text message remained on Greg's phone. Ride complete. Greg was never seen again. That was the forgotten passenger, a chilling reminder that not every ride takes you where you want to go. Sometimes the destination is darker than you could ever imagine. If you enjoyed tonight's tale of terror, make sure to subscribe to Chills Beyond Midnight for more spine-tingling stories. And remember, the next time you're driving alone at night, Think twice before picking up a stranger. Who knows what kind of ride you're in for? Stay safe, stay alert, and until next time, keep your doors locked.